So we'd invited two gentlemen to join us in the next conversation. One of them is the Honorable Justice Dr. Emmanuel Aibuta, Court of Appeal Judge. Unfortunately, he will not be able to make it. But the other person is here and was here in good time. Julius Mbura is a digital inclusion ambassador. They're here to talk to us about digital inclusion for persons with disability. Julius, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you very much for
Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Yes, I listen to you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Very good.
Mornings.
You're a good man. You're a very good man.
Yeah.
That is the hot seat of the situation. How does it feel?
It's
not yet hot,
good.
You know.
It's good.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So now listen to C.T. Muga with the day's proverb. You listen to us, so you know the drill, right?
Yeah.
So this week the proverbs are from which country, City?
The Republic of Malawi.
The Republic of Malawi.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about Malawi.
Well,
this is where Tim Kamuzu Banda was president.
Yes.
Who's the current president?
The current president is a gentleman by the name of Lazarus Chakwera.
Aha,
That is, yes, El Presidente.
Mm-hmm.
He has a vice president, actually. Mm-hmm. The gentleman is called Saulos Chilima.
Did they have to put the S on the Saulo? Saulos.
Well, It's just one person. There's no plural to it. Okay, so don't assume that there are many.
There are many Saulo.
One Saulo, two Saulos. No, it's just one.
Okay.
This country has a population of around 21 million people. Mm. Okay, they got their independence on the 8th of July, 1966.
Very good.
Now, very friendly. They are our friends.
They are, eh?
Marafiki zetu sana. Their current president is also a great friend of the country, having lived there for quite a while.
Yes.
The capital is called... Okay, listen, I have to ask. Listen, I'm going to leave it.
Julius?
What's
the capital of Malawi?
Let's see if you remember.
History
kidogo tu.
Malawi. Kinshasa?
Good man. For effort, I give you 100%. Yeah. But in terms of accuracy, zero. It's Lilongwe. Yes.
Hey. So Lilongwe is the what capital?
Actually, Lilongwe is the capital.
Is the everything capital?
It's the everything capital.
So Blantyre is just like a Mombasa?
Just like Mombasa too.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. Haya. The proverb.
The proverb. The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder.
No.
Do you get the proverb, Julius?
I do. The person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of the thunder.
Yeah.
I think this comes to sort of like bring perspective of your actions have consequences. Because lightning travels faster than light. It's light, so it travels faster than sound. So by the time lightning is, you have lightning and thunder, then if you have lightning, you should deal with thunder as well.
You know, the beauty of your interpretation is that it opens our eyes to interpretation that we ourselves would never have thought of.
Yeah.
So that is good, excellent. You know, I chose this proverb because it puzzled me also. But what I liked about it was somebody gave human life, okay? They animated lightning. And they said lightning has relatives, it has in-laws. Yes. So I wondered now, who are the in-laws
of lightning?
Yeah. Exactly. So when they say that the person-in-law of lightning is not afraid of thunder, who's afraid of their relative? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thunder is a relative of lightning.
Yes, it is. They are actually very close relatives.
Very good.
If you have one, the other one will be around the corner.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So, Julius.
Yes.
Digital inclusion for persons with disability.
Yes.
You're a champion of this.
Yeah.
You're an ambassador of this.
Yeah.
You have a disability.
Yes.
What's your disability?
My disability is blindness.
Okay.
And ironically, no one can tell. If I don't have my white cane, you wouldn't tell that I'm blind.
Yep.
Because it's invisible and at the same time, it's sight related. So my eyes look normal, but I have a condition called retinitis pigmentosa that affects the retina. And retina is the back of the eye. So by just looking at me, you wouldn't tell that I'm actually blind. Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit more about this condition? What causes it? How it comes about? Yes.
Yeah. So it's genetic, and you can imagine by now I'm sort of like an expert of the condition. I've read about it. I've gone to the depths of knowing how it manifests. So it goes down generations, and it's dominant in men. And the cause is genetics. So the way the DNA and the lack of those biological strands, and you have different types of RP, as it's called in the medical field. It's supposed to actually be degenerative, and you're supposed to lose sight over the years.
Progressively.
There is a very aggressive strain, which I have, and that is very erratic in how it manifests. So I've lost my sight twice, and the first time I was 10 years. Then my body sort of like started fighting back, and the underlying condition I have is called maculopathy. So they sort of like the way you say it, relatives, they work together. And through cell regeneration, I got my sight back, but low vision. So I could see like 1 meter. Then lost it again 2019. That is 3 weeks to my bar exams. The beauty of it is I had
So after the age of 10, you regained your sight. Well,
yeah, after like a year and a half.
But you were okay. So at 10, you were still in primary school. So you went through secondary school, through university.
Yeah.
You could see.
Low vision, yeah.
Low vision, but you could see, right?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
You studied law, because you just said bar exam.
I did law, yeah.
So you did, through university, you went to the Kenya School of Law.
Yeah.
You were okay.
Yeah.
When you were about to sit your bar exam at the Kenya School of Law.
I lost it.
How did that happen?
Lights out.
How did that happen?
So it's a funny story. So I used to get, I've never gotten migraines before. But this time they started coming, and you know how you have a gut feeling something is really bad. So I'd get like episodes. Like today I have like severe migraine. I can't even like hear myself think. To a point where I could like hit my head on the wall to sort of like quiet the pain inside. And this day I go to KSL as usual. I was living in Rongai, and coming back home, I think, you know how you get used to an environment, like the way now I move by myself independently. So you know the corners, you know the feel of the road. So I thought I could see, and I think I lost my sight along the way coming home. And getting off the matatu, there's a stretch. It was around 800 meters, and going up a hill, there was slopey terrain. I hear a boda boda coming, but then I'm trying to discern where it's coming from. My periphery was better than my central vision. That's another indicator of my aggressive strain, because normally when you have RP, it affects the periphery, but your central vision is better. So for me to see, like to sort of like harness all my sight, I used to like put my head aside a bit, and this time it was not working. So I try hard this side, the left side, right side, but by the time I was making the decision of going to the left side to evade the boda boda coming, it was too late, because the guy was going to his right, which was my left, and he hit me. That's how I knew now I'm actually blind.
That's when you realized you actually could not see
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Did you have eyeglasses?
I used eyeglasses. So when I got my sight back, this is 2003, and it got to a place where I could read and write with my naked eyes. But after like 6 months, started going down again, and I was prescribed for glasses, which you call positives, magnifying lenses. And I started with positive 14s. By the time I was quitting, I was at positive 25. This is in class 8. So I can tell you, it actually took a toll on me. And doctors were like, you need to go back to Braille so that you preserve that little sight you have. So even my KCPE, I sat for my KCPE with really big struggles. Like they gave me, what do you call it, large print, 18. But I could still strain and have like, you when you strain too much, you start having headaches. Yeah. So we made the decision of doing pure Braille in high school, even though I had passed for KCPE because I had an A, 400 out of 500 marks. I had to look for a school that would accommodate me, and all the national schools had that one problem of they didn't have inclusivity all the way.
Yep.
Yes.
So I had to go back.
Let me just stop again. All national schools did not have the facility to accommodate somebody who had your disability.
In theory, yes. But I went to all these schools. I used to ask them one question. If I come here and I'm using Braille fully, will that work? We will employ a teacher. We will have this. We'll have this. I was like, I need to go to an environment that really understands me.
Yeah.
And that was Thika High School for the Blind. I was like, for me to make it in life, my environment and circumstances don't define me. Yeah.
So you went to Thika High School for the Blind.
Yes.
And this is where you sat for your KCSE then?
Yes.
And went to university?
Went to university.
What university?
University of Nairobi.
How was it in terms of inclusivity?
It was a fight, I won't lie. I'd been given Kenyatta University, special education. But I told these guys, I don't think my path is on training as a teacher. But they kept on telling me, this is a way of giving back because it's special education, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I can give back in so many other ways. So my cut points had allowed me to do any course on the list that normally have. And special education was my 5th and last option on the list. But that is what I was given. Number 1, I wanted to do international relations. Number 2, I wanted to do diplomacy. I wanted to do film and theater technology. And I wanted now to do law. Those were on my list. Law was on the 4th. But I chose law because of the back and forth we had with these guys. And I was like, I really need to do something that will give me an upper hand to push for change from policy level and legislation.
Brilliant.
Advocacy.
So, after you, of course, now you've discovered that you're blind. It's just 3 weeks to your bar exam. Did you actually manage to see that exam, or did you?
Yeah, I sat for it because I was using a computer with a screen reader.
Okay.
So there was no difference.
Okay.
But I remember I didn't even tell my family until I finished for my papers. I remember I used to have bad migraines until the invigilators would tell me to defer for the papers. And I was like, I sacrificed so much to be here and I won't quit now. I'll see it through. Pun intended.
Nice one.
Yeah.
So now you are an ambassador for digital inclusion.
Yes.
Okay. So Braille is analog.
Yes. But Braille is like essential.
It's essential.
Yeah.
What does digital inclusion mean?
Digital inclusion means that there are no impediments for anyone, regardless of your ability to access information, access digital assets in any way.
Explain.
So the digital environment, sources from coding, creating environments like websites, apps, and portals, platforms, social media, all these things that you need to get online to access. If they're not made accessible, then a big chunk of the population and majority being persons with disabilities are not able to interact with these assets. So when you talk about digital inclusion, you're basically eliminating all barriers that would hinder a person who has a disability to interact or use or operate some of these systems.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you on social media yourself?
I am. All of them.
What do you mean all of them?
Talk about TikTok,
X, Instagram,
yes,
Facebook. That's-
YouTube, even though it's not sort of like a social media per se,
So how do you access those?
through digital accessibility.
Okay.
Yes.
So how?
So I have a phone. My phone has accessibility features. This is what we call assistive technology. And when I'm getting online or even operating my phone, even like simple tasks as messaging or calling, my screen reader voices out. So that's how I'm able to navigate.
Okay.
And when I'm typing out, it actually voices out whatever I'm writing as well.
Do you mind demonstrating that for us right now?
Let me do that.
Get onto X. We are on Spice FM KE on X.
Spice FM. I've actually tagged you guys.
Yep.
I did a post just before coming in. So let me.
Cellular data off. On.
So I put my mobile data on.
On. Page 1 of 3. Adjustable. Page 2 of 3. Page 3 of 3. Tab X. 6 new items.
What is it saying? What's that?
So that's the screen reader now. It's called VoiceOver. And even Android, I'm using an iPhone, so
Right.
this is VoiceOver. But for Android, it's called TalkBack. And basically, for you guys, you don't need it. That's why you don't put it on. For me, this is everything, because that's how I even know what's happening with my phone. Like my screen has dimmed,
Okay.
even though I don't need the light.
Notifications tab. 8 new items.
So
Selected. Notifications tab. 8 new items. Selected. Notifications tab.
so I have
8 new items.
notifications.
Active display. Now I see
That
light.
person in your phone is talking rather fast.
Yeah. So I can reduce the speed. That's a bit of it.
Characters. Settings. Containers. Speaking rate. 90%.
So I'm at 90%.
Okay.
Normally I use 100%.
And you
100%
understand.
I understand. Yeah, 100% over 100%.
Okay.
So let me just demonstrate. I reduce the speed.
85%. 80%. 75%. 70%. 65%. 60%. 55%. 50%.
Now you can hear. I love that. Every time I do it, people are like, now I can hear. But the beauty of it is once you start using it over a period of time, you get accustomed and you start increasing the speed without you knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
So get onto it again. Just
Yes.
Okay. I want us to go into a break. I want you to get onto X, right?
So
And post that you're here.
yeah.
Geography. Speaking rate.
So I'll just increase the speed because
Okay.
this is too slow for me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you do your
70,
thing.
70, 80%, 85%, 90%.
Okay.
Compose post. Button.
So let me
What's
say.
happening? Text field. What's happening?
So
Text field. Is editing.
let me do it a notch higher.
Okay.
Speaker one.
So I'll dark the screen
Okay.
Okay.
so that it doesn't seem like I know where I'm typing.
Okay.
And you give me the words.
Just get onto. Just say. Enjoying a conversation in the situation room.
Copy. B, N, N, J, J, O, O. Enjoy. 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 Enjoy.
Enjoying
A
a
conversation
conversation.
A, space. A, C, C, O, O.
in the situation room.
P, P, E, E. Conversation. I, N. T, T, W.
At Spice FM KE. And Edna, you can show the screen. We are putting on our mentions.
Copy. Copy. Cap S, I, T, T. Sitting. Situation. Sitting. Situation. Situation. Shift. Cap R. Cap R. O. O. Room. Room. A. Numbers. F. F. Letters. A. S. S. P. P. U.
Yes, got a new guys. So that's it.
That's
so
it.
let me.
Speech on. Speech on. Screen curtain off.
I have put the light on now.
Okay. That's it, City.
And let me.
Enjoying a conversation in the Situation Room.
Yes.
At Spice
Spice
FM,
FM.
can we
Yes. So I want to now release it.
Post. Button.
post it?
Post.
Let's see it
Posting.
on the screen.
Notification. Your post was sent.
Your post was sent. So should be live now.
Selected. Notifications tab. 6 new items. Selected. Notifications tab. 6 new items. Karen Uriel reposted your repost. Digital inclusion for people with disabilities. 7 a.m. and hashtag the situation.
You're at J Supercharge.
Yes.
That's you.
Yeah.
At J Supercharge.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So I'm refreshing. Internet G man, app is G.
Itakuja tu.
G what?
Wamesema
Sijui-
tutateseka kwa muda.
sijui mateso ni ya muda.
Unaona hiyo?
Here it is, enjoying a conversation in the
Yeah.
Situation Room at Spice FM KE. So it's easy for you to actually now do this and interact on social media
Yeah.
and digital platforms
Yes.
and access digital services.
Yes.
And you want everybody to be able to do this.
I want everybody to be able to do this.
Julius Mbura, he's a digital inclusion ambassador. He's here with us in the studio. Digital inclusion for people with disability, and that's what we're talking about. So you've shown us what access you have
Yeah.
to digital platforms,
Yeah.
despite your disability.
Yeah.
Now, how does it work for other disabilities?
For other disabilities, it's sort of like because even like on my accessibility pocket
Yep.
and the features, you have a variety of them. So for me, because I'm blind, I have activated voiceover.
Yeah.
For someone who's low vision, they'll activate magnifying capabilities. And then you have other intervening apps that actually come to play for you to actually now interact with the phone fully, functionally. And for example, deaf, they have transcription features where now if you talk, it will transcribe if you don't know sign language. And now we have innovations that are coming to sort of like solve the problem that has been there over the years. And you can have even like live sign language, AI having to sign for a person who's deaf.
All right.
Yeah, so there are pretty many, and people don't know about these features until they interact with them. Most of the time, people are like, no, that can't be. You can't use, and how are you using?
Yeah.
And how are you able to interact, to reply to me, like, especially on X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the time, I'm sure you're having conversations with people on
Yeah.
X, and they're thinking, this
Yeah.
guy, he has an assistant.
Yeah.
He's dictating.
Yeah. Even when people are sort of like sending messages to me, they're like, I want to talk to.
Yeah. Please tell Julius.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm the one replying.
So when you push for this,
Yeah.
as you advocate for digital inclusion,
Yeah.
where are you positioning it? You said you pursued law
I pursued
because you'd
law.
like to change
Yeah.
things from
Yeah.
a policy level, from a legislative framework.
Yeah.
So let's start it from policy level. What
Policy level.
changes are needed to ensure digital inclusion?
I'd say we need a lot of change. As the advocacy officer at Enable and head of computer assistive technology, we've been able to, and 2 years ago, we launched the first ever ICT accessibility standard. It's called KS 2952. It's actually for free at KEB's website. And all this is made possible because of like-minded individuals who see the gap and are willing to go all the way to make sure that
So you
persons
said
with
this-
disabilities.
Sorry, Julius. You said
Yeah.
this is a disability standard.
It's it's a ICT accessibility standard.
ICT accessibility standard.
Yeah.
What's that? Please start from that basic.
So KEBS has ways of having standards that are enforceable,
Yep.
that would tell you, even for this radio station, you have standards that are regulated by Communications Authority.
Yep.
But it has to be structured. And you're given guidelines. This is how you need to do these things. For us as Enable, we looked at standards that are working. And the EN 301549 which is a standard, a European standard, that gives a breakdown of how the digital environment is supposed to be accessible. They had done a really good job. So their standard is demarcated. It has hardware, software, digital documents, and all these things, even like spaces. If you're going to an ATM, how much space do you need if you have a wheelchair? The forward, front reach, and the side reach, because you need to move around. And all these things are guided by the World Web Guidelines, WCAG, and it's getting technical. But the bottom line is they're supposed to give you a way to do things in an accessible manner,
Right.
and also include everyone, having universal design.
So now Kenya has a standard.
We have a standard,
Okay.
and now we are in the face of mainstreaming the standard for the whole of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah,
What does having a standard now then mean for a person with disability?
it means that's one right step to the right direction, because for procurement agencies, the government, persons who are in decision making for all these digital assets, they can actually now follow the standard to make the digital environment more accessible and accommodative to persons with disabilities. And I'm talking about even like the built environment,
Okay.
like the traffic lights.
Yep. I
In
wanted
Kenya,
to come into that.
I cannot cross the road by myself. Okay, I cross, but it has its risks. I've been hit by cars a couple of times in this CBD. So that autonomy of persons with disabilities, not having to depend on other people, that is what we are preaching.
Is that also part of digital inclusion?
Yes, because
Traffic signs.
traffic signs, because they have a software, they need to get information from somewhere else, a central system that will now command. And when the traffic lights are going, red or green,
Yep.
then there's voice output. For example, you get into an elevator.
Yep.
Sometimes you hear the elevator voice out that
Yeah.
you're on second floor.
Yes.
That floor.
Yes.
That is how I know that I've actually arrived.
Okay.
And then
Is that digital inclusion?
that is digital inclusion.
I see.
Yeah. And then the buttons, they have braille on them.
Yep.
So I don't need someone to press for me, the third floor, fourth floor. I can do that. For example, this morning I got out of my room, got into the elevator, went down. I had ordered for a cab. You see, all that is digital inclusion.
Right.
I ordered for a cab in my room.
Right.
Talked to the driver. Yes, I'm at Radisson, pull up. Went to the elevator, went down, got into the cab. Here I am.
So digital inclusion is not just on using of gadgets. It goes beyond this. It goes into
It's your daily life, really.
It's your daily life.
Yeah,
and
it's a
everything else that you're
wholesome,
doing.
because now if you look at it, we all depend on tech
Yeah.
to get around and to do stuff. Then why can't we make it inclusive so that persons with disabilities can enjoy on the same level that
Okay.
everyone else is?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's-
what else do we need to do?
we need to change a lot, starting with attitude, stigma, discrimination. And that's why we normally hold the Inclusive Africa Conference, which is actually starting today. And we bring the uncomfortable conversations, like mental health. People don't think about disability. Persons with disabilities have the worst mental health issues because you have trauma, you have self-acceptance, self-esteem, sense of belief, all these things impacting you. And if you don't position yourself nicely, if you don't have people around you who can actually take care of your mental health, then you start crumbling. You have GBV, persons with disabilities being very much affected by it. We have innovations. Of course, these now drive positive solutions to bring disability inclusion into the picture. And then we have all these discussions, starting with the fundamentals like education, going all the way to now the emerging trends like AI and all this good stuff, making it a very progressive society. So we start small, but we make sure that we are very intentional, very deliberate in ensuring that we are not excluding anyone in the society. And that's why we bring 20 different African countries and beyond, the likes of Google, Microsoft, Meta, to now bring all these discussions on the table and look at the gaps and then try solve the gaps one step at a time.
You say we. Who's
Yes.
we?
We is Enable and the partners.
Enable.
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 Yes, Enable. Then we have now
Who's
partners.
Enable?
Enable is a non-profit organization that empowers persons with disabilities through assistive technology, digital accessibility, and disability inclusion.
The question that is always asked when we're dealing with matters of disability
Yeah.
is, how far does this stretch? Because you've given us the journey you've gone through.
Yeah.
There are others who are going through this journey.
Yeah.
They are in primary school. Well, let's start from the time even before they get to primary school and so forth. Okay?
Yeah.
Do we have the facilities in this country to be able to diagnose and know about some of these conditions early enough? That's I've got three questions. That's number one. So that one understands the path that one would then need to follow to make the lives of these individuals or these disabilities better and easier. One. Two, do we have the facilities that are required? Because there's thicker school for those who are visually impaired. Yes, exactly. But beyond thicker, is there or are there other schools where individuals, because that's just one school in the whole country, are there other schools where one can go to? Does our Ministry of Education understand the need or the steps to take towards inclusivity so that people who have these impairments are not discriminated against just by virtue of that disability?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll start with the first question.
Yes.
Do we have the facilities to actually detect some of these disabilities before they get to us, right? And I'd say yes. But again, my mantra in life is we work with what we have. So we may not have the sophisticated, equipment, but at the time where a child is being born, we have facilities and capability to actually detect these disabilities. The problem comes in where there is high cost implication, where now you are telling a parent you need to cough out 200,000, 300,000, and then a lot of referrals. You need to go here, you need to go there. But most importantly, I think what needs to be done is ensure that even for health insurance, for example, do you know disability is not among, and we have severe disabilities. We're not talking about like my disability. You have people who need constant care and health interventions.
Yep.
So why can't we make insurance for these individuals accessible to them, for them to actually enjoy and alleviate some of these burdens cost-wise? So I'd say we have the capabilities of actually detecting at an early stage, and having that journey easier for the parent and the community at large. But there's so many other mitigating factors like misappropriation, misdiagnosis. Like for me, I got misdiagnosed. I was taken to a mentally challenged school before I was taken to Thika.
Sorry?
Yeah. At the age of 10, before I lost my sight.
How did they arrive at that conclusion?
You know how, and I think this goes into like, we need like stiff policies and all that. So I was taken to Kikuya unit. They didn't see the problem because they were looking at the eye, not at the back of the eye. So we didn't have specialists at the time of the back of the eye.
Or the equipment that could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So then I was taken to private doctors. And my mom, I remember, used to sort of like give a background. Oh, he's had this before. He's had this before. And this one doctor decided that cerebral malaria was part of this.
Right.
And I was mentally challenged. So I was taken to a mental school. And I remember that is where I actually got blind. And now we had to disorganize and disarrange everything. And lucky enough, we had specialists who had come to Kenya to camp at Kenyatta. They actually saw the problem. So I'd say, yeah, we have ways and, capability of detecting. And again, coming to like, do we have now the journey now? Where now it's detected, do we have the journey? Yes, we do. We have 16 schools for the blind in Kenya. In Ebo, we are in 6 schools for the blind. And we've established computer labs with computer assistive technology, the screen readers and accessibility features for the blind to actually use these devices independently. We have integrated schools, and now what the Ministry of Education is doing is bringing inclusion into the picture. In the past, what used to happen is a blind student is taken to a mainstream school. So it's very hard for them to adapt what was supposed to happen to me in high school, going to national schools.
Yeah.
But now what is happening is you're bringing sighted students to the blind school, what used to be called special schools.
Yes.
The special needs education system. And now it's a symbiotic relationship because the sighted students will actually help the blind and visually impaired students to adapt and, because you don't have so many things like books, braille books, all these things. And that's why we are complementing braille with assistive technology, which is screen reader and accessibility features. So we have the special schools, even for the deaf, for physical disabilities, like Joytown. And now the aspect of having now the inclusive education system brings it closer for persons with disabilities to actually interact with the society from a young age, from the foundational level. And that's the best.
Is this being implemented across the board, or is it being piloted, for example, at Joytown?
I'd say, like now as we speak, it's being piloted at Thika High School for the Blind.
Okay.
I know other schools for visually impaired are sort of like getting into the game. And the integrated schools that we've had in the country, for example, the Kilimani Primary School, that system is now being prioritized as an inclusive education system rather than the integrated system that was there.
Are they digitally inclusive?
I'd say we are a long way from there, but at least we've experienced and witnessed steps. And
So
as in Ebo,
what needs to happen, for example, in pick a school like at Thika School for the Blind or at Kilimani Primary, so that it now becomes properly inclusive?
Yes. I'll give you an example with the project that we have. We have a Chromebook project at Thika Primary School for the Blind and all the other schools that we are in, because we're in Thika, we're in St. Lucy's for the Blind in Meru, we are in St. Oda in Siaya for the blind, and we're in Likoni Primary School for the Blind. So in these schools, we had set up of labs, and that is still there, where students come to use their desktops. But you realize with the technology and advancements, we're having portable devices. So what we did with the partnership of Google, we've been able to purchase Chromebooks, and these Chromebooks, the students are now taking them to class.
Okay.
So instead of crying and like trying to bring challenges of Braille and how inaccessible it is because of the cost implications. Now you can have a Chromebook and actually load your soft copy materials, and you're able to even like type out as the class continues, because it's very portable, and we have like Wi-Fi. So
And it is silent.
and it's silent. It's you've seen Braille,
I
the
had,
Braille
I had
machines.
classmates in the university who had Braille. Where?
Yeah, it's a madhouse. You can imagine like 20 Braille machines all going on at once, like yeah. So Chromebooks, it's a game changer.
That's some good work that you're doing. So it's called Enable, the NGO.
Yeah,
Okay.
IN is small, then able is capital, and it's because we focus on the ability.
Okay.
Yeah,
This conference that you're hosting in Nairobi, that's bringing how many African countries?
20 African countries,
Okay.
and
What do you
we-
hope to achieve at the end of it?
at the end of it is to have commitments towards disability inclusion, and both digitally, but also the built environment and what we call the human side of it, which is communication, interaction, all these things that come with disability, like stigma, discrimination. So it's bringing the awareness and also showcasing innovations across Africa that are geared towards disability inclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, like assistive technology innovations, and they're being done by young folks. So we have a pocket of the conference called Assistive Technology Innovations Village. Normally they say it takes a village, right? So you're bringing all these innovators, experts in
So
the
they're
space.
like exhibiting there.
Yeah, we're exhibiting, yeah.
Oh, very good.
And even like beyond Africa, we have international companies that are exhibiting also to sort of like contrast what we have in the continent and
And
beyond.
what's happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
Julius, we thank you very much for joining us today.
I really
and for
appreciate it.
sharing this conversation with us. Julius Mbura.
Yeah.
Follow him on X. It's at J Supercharge.
Yeah.
He has been our guest. He's a digital inclusion ambassador, talking about digital inclusion for people with disabilities.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.